Okay, so there were just a couple of things I wanted to share with you about for questions for on the lab that we've been kind of working through this week. So obviously talking about the classifying chemical reactions. So just a couple of points that I want to make sure that you understand. This is the only lab we're doing, and labs are 30% of your grade. So it's really, really important that you complete this lab. It's going to be, I mean, there aren't a lot of labs that I could do in this way. And I didn't want to do unnecessary ones because I think you have enough to do and you're busy enough. So I chose this one is for this unit on types of chemical reactions is just vitally important. So I thought this one with these 8 separate little reactions, and these are they include all 5 of the types of reactions that we studied in this chapter. So I just want to quickly, so grab your little lab sheet if you don't have that. So remember the first part of this was you have to watch the videos and you have to write down detailed observations on the data sheet for this. And then the second page of the lab worksheet is writing down those reactions, what happened. So you know the you know the reactants because you're given that. You just have to look at the first page of your lab handout. So it might say mix, in the reactions, it might use the words and not give you the formula. But on the very front, although these are teacher notes, but you have this same sheet with on that first page, you have all of here's everything you need for the lab. And on that has all of the formulas for the reactants. And then you have to predict the product. So just really quickly, reaction number 1 was burning magnesium. So you know that used some oxygen, right? Because oxygen necessary for combustion. So that's a reactant. And then the product are those 2 things combining, right? You're going to have to look up your ion sheet to see what ratio do those combine in, the magnesium and the oxygen, because that's what's produced, but you need to know the charges of those so you know how they combine. So your ion sheet that gives you all those common ions will be really necessary. I think the second one, reaction number 2, should be pretty straightforward. So you have to predict the products of all of these, and then it does say balance them and classify them. So don't forget the classifying part. Are they single replacement, double replacement, synthesis, combination, decomposition, or combustion? Those were the 5 types, and your book has a really cool chart that shows those. Reaction, let me see. So reaction number 2, I think should be pretty straightforward. Reaction, there's a hint, you'll need your activity series for that one. Reaction number 3 is a little bit more difficult. So reaction number 3 says you're combining ammonium carbonate, or you're not combining, sorry, you're starting with ammonium carbonate and then you're heating it. So, but you're not burning it, so you're not adding oxygen. But what's produced is, remember we put a lit flame in that and the fire went out. So, and I actually already have it written, so I'm not going to write it again. So for number 3, we started with ammonium carbonate. Remember the triangle over the arrow means heat, and then the products were ammonia. That was the strong urine smell. Remember I wafted it and I said, oh, it smells like, a kitty litter box that hadn't been cleaned forever. Or from my day, when I was a little girl, I have lots of younger siblings, and that ammonia smell from the diaper pail, that's what it reminded me of. When we put the lit splint in, the splint was extinguished. And so we do think that that would indicate carbon dioxide being produced. Although there's some other things it could be. You would have no way to predict these, I don't think. So that's why I'm giving you these 2. And then water vapor was produced. So now you just have to balance this one. and classify what kind of reaction do you think it is. Number 4, you combined calcium carbonate with hydrochloric acid, that's HCl, and the products, and again, I don't know, I think we did the lit splint in this one too. The splint was extinguished, and so that would indicate probably carbon dioxide being produced. You probably wouldn't know that water's produced, and then the other part that's unaccounted for, we hadn't accounted for this calcium or this chloride ion, so those two actually combine, calcium chloride. So those were just two that it's like, I don't think that you would necessarily be able to predict those. I think that would be a little bit difficult. So that's number 3 and 4. Number 5 should be easy for you, I think. Number 6 is a pretty standard type of reaction that we talked about. Number 7 is as well. And number 8, remember, was burning the alcohol. Whenever we can burn, we do a combustion reaction for either a hydrocarbon or an alcohol. We always get the same product, so look, you can easily reference that in your notes. Again, don't forget to classify these, and don't forget we should also be balancing these. And again, if you have any questions, please reach out. This lab is, I feel like, kind of a big one, and it's definitely a big deal this quarter because it's the only one that we're going to do in labs are that 30%. So help each other, and know that I'm available to answer questions for you too. So good luck.